Hey, what is up everyone? With the smugglers making their arrival to the Sea of Thieves, you might be wondering, where can you actually find the smugglers? So in this video we're going to go over at where to find all the smuggler hideouts in the Sea of Thieves world, and we're going to start off in the wilds, and we're going to make kind of like a C shape basically. So starting off in the wilds, we're going to start off at Crook and Masts. Now you're going to be able to find it pretty easily. Crook and Masts is probably the smallest island that we have for this list, and all you have to do is go towards the south side of the island and head up the hill towards the southeast side of the island, and you'll be able to make your way up and you'll be able to see the hideout pretty obviously right up there. Watch out for the traps at all these different locations because they are trigger pads. When you step on the trigger, it basically will have spikes that launch up at you. So it's pretty obvious on the ground. You won't really have trouble missing it, but you should just be aware that they are there. So Crook and Masts is one of the easiest ones to find on this list. Next, we're going to head over to Old Faithful Isle, and this one is probably my favorite of all the smuggler locations just because I think it's the most beautiful in terms of actually sitting there, and you have this nice view of the water and everything from the hideout. But basically, you're going to head to the south part of the island, and honestly, this might be one of the easiest ones to sell at just because of how close it is to the water. You're basically going to go park there, you can shoot over to it, or you can just walk on in there. And you'll find it in the southeastern part of the island, and it'll just be this big opening. You'll pretty much be able to see in there. There'll be lights and everything, and I found it pretty quickly when I first went. Next, we're heading to Smuggler's Bay, and this is probably the hardest one for me to find. It's pretty obvious once you find it, but without knowing where it was one of the more difficult ones. And this is actually going to be one of the ones that are included for the Smuggler Route Run voyage that is for this season. And every season is going to change location, so it'll be different hideouts. But for this season, it's going to be Smuggler's Bay and Crescent Isle. So this one's an important one to know. So for Smuggler's Bay, you'll be able to find it towards the middle north part of the island. Now, you don't want to go all the way up the hill up there. It's not going to be on the very top level of the island. It's kind of more in the middle section. So starting at the beach from the bay in the middle of the island, just kind of work your way up north and you'll eventually see the cave towards the north center of the island. Moving on, Crescent Isle might be another one that's a little bit difficult to find, but I feel like it's pretty obvious where to start. So this one you're going to park towards either the middle of the bay or towards the west side of the island. And it's basically going to be dead center of the crescent shapes. And you'll see basically two cave entrances from either side. So if you're standing in the bay on the east side of the island, you're going to be going into that cave that's on the water, and if you go to the right, you'll see where the ancient vault is and where you're used to that being. And then if you go to the left, you'll see the smuggler hideout, and it'll be pretty obvious. You can see the lights once you enter that water level cave, and I found it pretty quickly there. If you were doing the smuggler route run voyage though, I would probably recommend trying to park on the west side of Crescent Isle, just because it'll help mask your ship a little bit more, and it's pretty easy to access the hideout from that side as well. Moving on, we have Plunder Valley, which I think is probably the hardest one to sell at just because you have to go so far inland to sell at. I would probably recommend going to Old Faithful Isle or one of the other ones that are on this list. But regardless, if you are trying to find the smuggler hideout on Plunder Valley, you basically want to go where that middle passageway is, towards the middle of the island, and it's on the very ground level. Now there's one cave towards the west side of the island that you might be familiar with. It's not going to be in that cave. Basically, what you want to do is you want to look for where that ammo chest is on this middle pathway here. And then once you get there, you'll enter that cave. So let's say if you are starting from the beach where the shipwreck is on the east side of Plunder Valley, and you're heading through that passageway, the hideout's going to be on your left where the ammo crate is. This one is another one that I don't think is too hard to find, especially if you use that ammo crate to help guide you. But then finally, we're making our way to Crook's Hollow for our final smuggler hideout. And this is a pretty easy one to find. It's a cave that I'm sure many of you have already visited before. Basically, what you want to do is you want to go park near where the dock is on this island, which is going to be on the west side of Crook's Hollow. And then you'll just see a cave entrance right there, and you just walk in and you'll find the final smuggler hideout. I hope this video was helpful. I want to try to map all these out because I know that when you're trying to sell stuff, you want to be able to find these things quickly. You don't want to be running around with treasure and, having the chance for someone to come up and attack you, especially with the new Smuggler Route Run voyage. You're definitely going to want to know where these locations are. So if you found this video helpful or you just enjoyed listening to me talk about them, it'd be great if you left a like and subscribe down below. And let me know in the comments which one of these hideout locations are your favorite. For me, I would definitely go with Old Faithful Isle. That's all I have for this video. Thanks for watching. I'll see y'all later. Bye all.